Have you with us on the Art Lewis Show. We've got 2 hours of open phones for you from now till 11 o'clock. 989-752-6111, whatever's on your mind. And on Focus today, we'll learn about the Literacy Center and the Gus Macker Tournament coming to Midland. So good morning, and thanks for being with us today. Yesterday, we were down at the Saginaw County Fair. Terry Henney. Throwback. Terry Henney will be there later on this morning. We'll chat with him. I thought I'd take a moment here. You know, over the years, we talk about polls, their reliability, and how in recent presidential elections they've failed in many ways. And I want to point out some polls that were taken recently about President Trump and his approval rating, and how different they are. Yet all these companies claim to be the pollsters, you know. So we'll start out with the lowest of all of them, and this would be Gallup. And the Gallup poll gave the president a 37% approval rating, a record low for his second term. And what they said was, even though he's accomplished much of what he set out to do, outside of his Republican base, relatively few Americans are pleased with his performance. So they gave him, in the poll, a 37% approval rating. So let us now move on to Trafalgar and the Insider Advantage survey. His approval rating, 50%. And disapproval about the same. So one gives him 37, one gives him 50. Let's go to the Rasmussen report. 51 disapprove, 47 approve. This was done recently, July 28th. Trafalgar Insider Advantage, 50% of approve of job performance, 46 disapprove. Emerson College, 47 disapprove, 46 approve, so that's pretty much a wash. That was a July 25th poll. And one of the things that's noted in both is the party discrepancies, how he gets more favorability, obviously, with the Republicans than he does with Democrats. Fox News poll, 54 disapprove, 46 approve. And Reuters, 54 disapprove, 41 approve. But it's so, I mean, you look at these polls and some of them are close to one another. Others, like the Gallup, seem to come out of left field. So that's why I don't put a lot of faith in them. Yeah, they're interesting conversation starters and all of that. But the polls you really want to know about are the ones that are taken internally by the parties themselves. They tend to be a lot more accurate and less forgiving. Internal party polls can tell the party whether they're going to win or lose. So come time for the next presidential election, when you hear about all the polls and this one's doing this and this one's doing that, take it with a grain of salt. I just saw one, a poll about Montani, the socialist running for mayor in New York. It said in this poll that he would beat all comers combined. In other words, here's Montani running against Cuomo and Adams and all the other candidates, and he's garnering enough support to beat all of them cumulatively, which I find really strange, because this guy is in another planet. But, again, makes interesting reading, interesting discussion, but nothing that I'd bet my house on. So take it with a grain of salt. See how it... Watch them over time, see how they track, who they interview. Lots of ways to look at them, but just don't take them as the absolute rote. All right? A line's open for you. It's an open line hour, whatever you'd like to talk about, 989-752-6111. Free Press had an article this morning. After all this time, 50 years, you would think the search for Jimmy Hoffa would be done. But nope. According to the Detroit Free Press, the headline is 50 years later, the search for Jimmy Hoffa continues. He disappeared on this day, July 30th, 1975, from the parking lot of the Marcus Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township. And investigators have theorized he was killed to prevent him from returning to power in the Teamsters. According to the story, a small group of people pulled off a crime that still torments loved ones and sleuths. But I don't understand how they know all these things about how many people pulled it off, and why, and all that. So, apparently there's a lot more to it behind the scenes than there is that they'll ever tell us. But it is a mystery to this day what happened to his remains. And there have been thousands of tips, all kinds of conspiracy theories that led to Essexville, Michigan, not too many years ago. And they showed up with SWAT teams and backhoes and dug up a swimming pool underneath an above-ground swimming pool, saying that he was buried there, and of course he wasn't. After 50 years, I don't know. We just keep hearing about it, reading about it. To the phones we go, and Jim is in Wheeler. Jim, good morning.
Well, Art, the case is solved.
Oh.
We know exactly who did it.
Okay.
All you really got to do is just stop and think for a second.
Who's that?
Trump did it.
Oh, of course.
Well, absolutely.
He does everything.
That's right. Part of him is down buried in Mar-a-Lago, and some in Trump Tower, and all of his properties got a little bit of Hoff in there.
There you go.
Got to get the FBI out and all the haters and go after him.
That's funny.
I just thought I'd get you a little laugh.
That's
Have
good.
a good one.
That's good. You too. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye now.
And we'll go up to Sanford, talk to Mark this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
Good.
So, I'm listening to your polls, and I'm trying to understand, in just a few months of being in office, what more could he possibly do in just a few months that would make them happy? I'm trying to think of, okay, he's working on pretty much, I don't know. I'm an independent, but in this case, I think he's at least getting stuff done.
Well, here's the interesting thing. This was the comments from Gallup. An analyst, Megan Brennan, wrote, Trump closes out the second quarter of his second term in office, having accomplished much of what he said he would do if elected. Yet, outside of his Republican base, relatively few Americans are pleased with his performance. His rating has fallen to the lowest. Now, the reason for that, if I had to speculate, and I'll get your reaction to this, if I had to speculate why his numbers are what they are, it has nothing to do with immigration. It has nothing to do with the tariffs. It has nothing to do with anything except when you go to the grocery store, you're still paying high prices. And I think, and this is my personal opinion now, I think that's what's driving some of these numbers. The fact that we haven't seen the great reduction in cost of food and necessities. We've seen the inflation rate come down, but you don't see the prices come down because that would be deflation.
All right. So can I comment on that?
Yeah, no, please do.
So you own a grocery store, and you've got a can of pickles, and the can of pickles or the jar of pickles is $2. And inflation comes along, and you can take those pickles and move them up to $2.25. Very easy. You can change the price. But now, when you pay $2.25 for them, because of it was up that high, now when it goes to reduce the price of it, you have to wait until you can buy the new pickles at $1.60 so that you can move it back down, because you've already paid. You bought the replacement pickles at $2.25. So
Yeah, but wait a minute. Why do you think they're going to go back down to $1.60?
well, I'm saying is to see the prices go down, to see his effects of lowering prices. They aren't going to just turn on like the light switch.
No, I understand that.
People have products in the store that they pay inflation prices for to purchase it. Now, in order for them to move the price down, they got to take a loss on it.
Well, here's the deal. We're going to pay these higher prices regardless, because let's take your $2 jar of pickles, and now it costs $2.25 because the wholesale price went up, so the retail price went up.
Exactly.
When you remove inflation, you do not lower the price. You only keep the price from going higher. You would have to have deflation in order for the price to go down.
I agree.
And unfortunately, we're not there.
Right. And I can't understand how people can't see the gas prices come down. Now, those can be affected right away because they empty their tanks all the time.
Well, and they're also tied to a world market.
Right. But the gas prices came down. I mean, things are happening. Now, for granted, maybe it's not fast enough, but I think they're doing a fine job. And
Well, that's, I wouldn't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but the public knows number. And listen, it's always been about the economy, and it will continue to be about the economy.
So you think those are all never Trumpers?
No, I think they're people that are tired of paying high prices. And you have to remember, he said prices are coming down, down, down. Well, he's got to deliver on it. Now, and I've said this before, he's got until spring of 2026 to deliver on some of that. Because after that, we get into the midterm elections, and anything that hasn't happened up at that point doesn't count anymore. So he's got until next spring to shape it up. In many areas he has. He's certainly done a lot of things he said he was going to do. No doubt about it.
So I would just like it when they do those polls to find out how many of those 37% are never Trumpers. I mean, if there's 20% of them that are never Trumpers, it's not going to matter what he does. If he makes the...
Well, yeah, but where were they in the other polls?
Right, yeah.
So it's not, it's... That's why I point out these polls. I just don't trust them anymore. They're all over the map.
I got one more quick one, and I'm going to let you go. Do you think there's more, or you probably know the answer to this, is there more registered Republicans or more registered Democrats?
I don't know the answer to that. I think the edge might be to the Republicans, but I'm not positive, and it's not a huge edge if it's an edge.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, sir.
all right. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it, Mark. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. We're going to take a pause and be back with more calls. 989-752-6111. Back after this.
It's Mid-Michigan's best entertainment.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and let's go back to our phones. We've got Mark in Bay City. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
Good.
Hey, I got two things I wanted to cover and get your thoughts on. First one, I was turned on my TV the other day, and is not a police officer role is to serve and protect. I think that's what they go under the shield, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot of departments use that saying.
Okay.
And it's, and you talk to most police officers, and they will tell you that's exactly why they joined the force.
Okay. In Cincinnati, there was a beating of two white individuals and about, I would say 7 individuals ganging up on 2 defenseless look-like individuals.
Yeah, they've arrested
police
5.
Police chief comes out and defends the cell phone users, the media that makes that happen and go on, instead of the 2 victims. They said, we don't understand what the cause is or anything. Irregardless, when somebody's on the ground getting kicked in the head, it doesn't really matter what they did at that time, does it?
No, but I think what the police chief was referring to was the fact that there were a whole bunch of citizens with their phones out taking video of it, but none of them called. Only one person called 911. All the other people there didn't do anything. They just took their videos. And I think that was one of the things they were complaining about.
Well, I see a lot of people that try to help, and they end up getting caught up with charges for maybe hitting somebody else to break up the fight. And I think that has gotten a lot of people from wanting to see something, say something.
Some truth in that.
Yeah. So my next topic is in sports. In football, if you take your helmet off, you get a penalty or something like that. And the other day I was watching basketball, women's basketball, and I saw something get thrown on the court, and it turned out to be a wig. The individual was able to pick up the wig, and she was able to run back, but the refs called a timeout. And people bet on FanDuel. When that type of stuff happens, shouldn't there be repercussions as a penalty or something of that sort?
Well, it depends who did it. I mean, if it was a fan that did it, how do you penalize a fan other than remove them?
It was a player. It was a
player's wig?
NBA player. Yeah, somebody snagged their finger in her hair and it got thrown on the floor. And the commentators wouldn't say what it was or anything like that. They just kept saying, "Oh my."
Well, if it was, if it's accidental, that's one set of circumstances. If it was on purpose, that's another. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. If there are rules against wigs or what have you.
Well, I know you can't throw. You're not supposed to throw stuff on the court. Yesterday there was a sexual toy at a women's NBA that was thrown on the.
Yeah, but that was
the court.
thrown on the court mischievously.
Correct.
So I don't know the
Yeah,
answer
this
because
is
I don't know
a-
whether it was an accident or on purpose.
Well, who would bring a toy to a?
No, I'm not talking
sporting
about
event?
that. I'm talking about the wig.
Oh, yeah. Well, if a hockey player throws the puck over and not hit the glass, they get a delayed game or something like that for
Yeah, depending on the
for
play.
throwing the puck. Yeah, I just think the bottom line, I just think there should be repercussions if either your uniform is all intact. I understand a shoe falls off or needs to be tied, but everything else, you can't wear jewelry or anything like that. So I just think, wigs, it's
Yeah,
a
well,
weird
I
game.
mean, that's a valid concern. Do you allow them or not allow them?
Yeah.
So, all right.
All right.
I tell you this though, Mark.
What's that?
Don't see it as a huge issue.
Not yet. Not yet.
Could be.
But it could be.
All right.
I mean, if you were betting on FanDuel and the momentum was going one way, and then all of a sudden they shut the game down,
Yep.
it can change a game.
Yeah, it sure can. All right.
All
Good
right.
enough. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Yep. Bye.
All right, let me take a moment to talk about Quick Lane in Freeland on the McDonald Ford property. This has been a tough year. If you have allergies, you know that. And Quick Lane in Freeland wants to keep you healthy while you're driving your car. So they have a product called FrigiFresh, a hospital-grade disinfectant for your car's air conditioning system. Listen to John from Quick Lane Freeland tell you about it.
FrigiFresh.
And we would love to chat with you. Got to take just a moment out to talk about the Tigers. 3 in a row now and scoring a lot of runs, back to where they were before the All-Star break when they were dominating. And they've just won 3 in a row. By the way, they're on the air early today, this afternoon. They are on today at, I think, 12:45, if I'm not mistaken. And let's hope to keep it going. Their prospect, by the way, their number one prospect, who also is now the top prospect in baseball, is a guy by the name of Kevin McGonigal. And right now he's concentrating on baseball because there are trade rumors all over the place. And he's put his mind to improving and helping the Tigers in any way he can to win a World Series. But he just is being swamped with all the rumor mills, And it's too bad because he really needs to work on his game, keep going on. He's the number one prospect in baseball, and we've got him. The trade deadline is set for 6 p.m. tomorrow. So it's not surprising that scouts are, doing their thing, spending a lot of time looking at these prospects. But he also says that there's a lot of stuff out there on social media with his name on it that's fake news. He says he's just looking forward to staying with the Tigers and helping them win a World Series one day. And I think, particularly now that they've turned the corner again, and hopefully they'll keep it up, I doubt very much they would consider trading away the number one prospect in baseball. That would have to be some kind of really, really special deal. I do think they're going to be buyers, not sellers. Pitching, bullpen pitching. Because they're position players right now, they're pretty deep and they're pretty set. And the reality is, if nothing changed, they'd go forward with a good team. Time will tell. Here's Mary in Bay City. Mary, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm listening to your show and heard the gentleman say that they were complaining that no one called 911. I took a CPR class years ago, and one of the first things they tell you before you, as you run up or whatever you're going to do, is you point at somebody and you tell them, call 911.
Yep.
Because otherwise, everyone will assume someone else has done it.
Well, yes, I understand that, and that's true. They do teach that. But the reality is, I mean, look at what happens. Look at what happens, Mary, at a traffic accident. If there's a traffic accident, there's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 people call 911. Nobody had to tell anybody to do it. And when you're standing in a crime scene like that, watching somebody get beat up, I'm sorry, somebody else should have called. One person out of that whole bunch of people called 911. But you're right. I mean, it helps to say call 911. I have a feeling in that crowd it wouldn't have made a lot of difference. They were more interested in getting the video.
No, I didn't see any of the videos, but I heard her talk.
Yeah.
So but that's just something that maybe people should keep in mind too. Also, if you see something happening, call. I mean, I was in a car accident. I don't know how many people called, but they got there pretty quick.
Yep. Well, see something, say something. It's the old line.
And the other thing,
Go ahead.
And one other thing, and this is a different topic. There's a great need for blood right now. So if you're somebody who could donate, you should consider it. I give blood regularly, and I hear it all the time when I go there. They are really, really.
Yeah, that seems to happen in the summer a lot. People on vacation, what have you. So absolutely.
So just a sort of thought, nothing to do today, and you can get blood, maybe go do it.
There you go.
All right, then. Thank you.
Good call, Mary. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
989-752-6111. That's the number to call and join us.
Who knew?
All right, back with you, and lines open. Give us a call. I read an interesting article. Jay Leno was interviewed recently prior to the ending of the Stephen Colbert run on late night television that was announced, which will end in May of next year. And Leno had some interesting comments, and think about what he said even before this happened. Now, Paramount has said the reason for the cancellation is financial. They were losing something like $40 million a year on it. Leno had some interesting comments about political humor, because when he was host of The Tonight Show, he would do political humor, but he went after both sides. Didn't matter. His comments had to do with the fact that the late night hosts these days are all from one side. They're all against Trump. And his question was, and think about this, why would you throw away half of your audience? Because that's what they're doing. Because we as a people tend to search out those who say what we want to hear. So it's reasonable to expect that a lot of folks from the left are watching those shows, and very few from the right are watching those shows. Where Leno in his day went after both sides equally and did it in a humorous way. And his ratings were much. These three guys